If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. This is the Thank Generational Wealth podcast with your host, Amir Estimo. And today I just wanted to share a thought regarding what's going on here recently since probably the end of December of 2019 regarding the coronavirus and how it's actually causing a lot of issues right now in the world. we can obviously say is it's on everybody's mind. I mean, it's affecting. Today I was having lunch and it just popped up. You see, it's now on the ESPN ticker regarding the coronavirus and how athletes like LeBron James is talking about, probably having games without fans. I know certain parts in Europe, the club soccer, the Champions League, they are doing a couple of matches without closed doors, without fans, and it's crazy. Just crazy to see the conversations people are having. But I wanted to just have you think for a moment, and even for me too. Just to think about what's going on in the world today. See how people listen to the conversations people are having, listen to people's thoughts, and be okay if there are disagreements. But I think we shouldn't live in fear of what's going on. I don't think it's to that point where we got to be cautious. And we really do right now, because this coronavirus is it's spreading. Yeah, eventually, hopefully not, this does not become an epidemic. But just listen to the conversations people are having. I know for me, insurance, especially life insurance, medical insurance, it's going to be probably very extremely hard to get, because these insurance companies are very smart. They know what's going on. They don't want to be able to. If you don't have any coverage, it's going to be hard, because these insurance companies are going to now put limits and restrict. If you even get insurance, it's going to be expensive. So this coronavirus is not only affecting the medical field, the insurance field, it's affecting the stock market here in the U.S. We're looking at, I think the latest article I read, which is yesterday, we're looking at the worst since 2008, and 2008 was pretty bad. And that's one thing, living in the U.S., I can honestly say that when 2008 hit, it was really hard. I was just getting out of college, and it was hard to find a job. It was extremely hard. So I ended up selling at a job for, I think, 7 years, at a company for 7 years. Yeah, I think so. Then I settled there 7 more years, but I was already working there for 3 years. So I was there a total 10 years. And now I look back at 2008, and that was tough. You would hope that now Now we have this epidemic we're dealing with, and it's causing a lot of issues. But I highly recommend take a moment to see if you have proper care as far as life insurance, medical insurance, because this coronavirus is going to cause some issues, and it's going to affect you when you're trying to be covered. So it's very, very cautious of you right now to take a moment, see what, if you don't have life insurance, what are you waiting for? I just seen a Facebook post the other day. Young guy passed away from a motorcycle accident, and he was part of a network, and in that network they were starting a GoFundMe account. Now, I don't know the full story, but maybe he did have some type of coverage he's left for his family, who knows. But what if he didn't? Why are we waiting till something bad happens to realize what we need? In life, we have to be prepared. We just have to be. Because there is so much anxieties in this world. And you don't want to wait till something bad happens, for that's when you want to make sure you're okay, make sure your family's okay. So you want to make sure you have all that, be prepared, because once something happens, and that's when you're waiting, oh my gosh, I should have done this, I should have did that, why didn't I have this, why didn't I have that? Because it's sad to see when you see these things, and you see these GoFundMe accounts, and you're like, wow, that person, why is that always a common theme? Why is that always a common theme? When something happens, family, now who knows, maybe the family is now left with debt, who knows? But why are we waiting until something bad happened for us to realize what do we need? So take a moment, and I just wanted to share that thought with you, and ask yourself, are you prepared? If something happened to you, male or female, will your family be okay? That's a question to ask yourself. And if not, go find someone, call around. Just call around and see what's out there. Just start taking action. Don't wait till something bad happens to make sure you're okay or your family's okay. Okay? All right. And what should everyone be thinking? Generational wealth. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this. Hopefully it inspires someone to go and take action today. And even for me, I had to go back and relook and make sure I'm okay, make sure my family's okay, make sure we're properly cared. I don't have a lot. I have a diversified portfolio, but I don't have much into the stock market because of things like this. Because once you have your money, right now, 401k, stocks, mutual funds, IRAs, all those things right now is taking beatings. So that's why it's really good to make sure your money is in a tax shelter. You put your money into a tax shelter called an IUL. If you don't know what that is, check out episode 1 when me and my buddy Jimmy Jean, we discussed the difference between a term, IUL, and whole life. If not, go ahead and Google. It's called the Index Universal Life. It's a tax shelter. You get a death benefit, plus you get to put cash value. And if something happens to you and you've never borrowed against that policy and against that your insurance, because that's where some of these wealth. Donald Trump does it. O.J. Simpson did this before. O.J. Simpson, when he had went to jail for robbery, even though he had lost the murder case, he won the murder case, but he lost a civil case. They took most of his assets, but he still came out with money because he had put his money into this index universal life. The wealthy people are doing this, folks. We don't know these things. So when your money is in index universal life, you have a floor and you have a cap. But it mimics the stock market. But if the market goes up, there's usually a cap that you can make, usually about 13-15%. There's some insurance companies out there, actually you can even get up to a 34-35%. But if the market swings downwards, so you have upwards and downwards, if it swings downward, there's a floor. So right now, stocks and 401ks, those things right now are taking a beating because that's the market, right? You invested into the market. But in this IUL, the market swings left and it goes downward. You have, even though you won't have any gains, but you won't have any losses either. That's the interesting thing about the IUL. And also, you can get long-term care. So if something happens to you, and let's say you grow old and you're in a nursing home, or let's say you get into you have 6 functions. If you can't perform 2 of these functions, then you can qualify for long-term care. And since their cash buildup, you have long-term care, you can use your cash value to take care of you. You can get long-term care. Check it out. IUL, folks. It's called an IUL. All right. I just had to share that part because there's too many people out there that don't know that if you don't have to invest your money into the markets. It's good to be diversified, and I'm not saying for you not to have any money into the stock market, but don't put majority of your money into it, because once that market crashes, man, if you went in there and you invest a lot of money, imagine you invest $10,000 and you lose, the market swings left and it goes 60%, 50%, half your money wiped out. This has happened. It happened in 08. It happened in 08. What should everybody be thinking? Generational wealth.